Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy Makeamericalit, back with another NBA 2K video. And in today's video, I got a little something different than the usual videos that I upload. In today's video, as you can see on your screen, I am going to be ranking all NBA 2K games. Now, before I jump into the rankings, I want to say that this is just my opinions, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to leave your opinions and what you think, where you rank each 2K and stuff like that down below in the comments. But these are just my rankings and based on, my time with said games. Now, do keep in mind, I'm kind of on the older side, so I've played every single 2K from the original on Dreamcast. There's like one or two that I didn't play, and there's like maybe a handful that I didn't own. You know what I'm saying? So, those that I didn't play, I'm going to, make sure that I put in this didn't play pile. And then, the rest of them, I'm going to rank, accordingly. So, with that being said, we're going to start off with the first one, which is obviously NBA 2K with Iverson on the cover. And that's going to go into the great pile, just off rip because it is the first 2K. It has to go in the great pile. This was like a 2K that was very, very, very simple, very straightforward. You press, I think, B to crossover because there was no circle button. It was on Dreamcast. I remember pressing B for the crossover. I remember pressing X for the shot and the dunks. A was the pass because, it did have like the Nintendo type button layout with the X, Y, B, A, or the Xbox 360, type layout or whatever. Y, I don't remember what Y was for. I think like it was like left trigger and Y to throw like an alley oop or some shit like that, or like directional up and Y to throw an alley. I don't know, man. The controls was kind of wonky, but there was really no like moves that we have today and SIGs and all of that stuff like that. Everybody had the same jump shot. I'm pretty sure everybody had the same dunk packages and stuff like that. I don't think there was any like real customization from what I recall, but even then the game was still mad fun, man. Like, you would just spam dribble moves, crossovers, just B, get by your man, dunk it, or, just pull up in somebody's face, splash. Like, it was a very basic game, but the game was still fun. You know what I'm saying? And it's obviously what started what we know as 2K now. So, I hold this game near and dear to me. So it has to go in the great pile. You know what I'm saying? Now, moving on, we have 2K1, which I know people are like, I thought that was 2K1. No, that was NBA 2K like 2000. This was NBA 2K1 or 2001. And while I didn't own this game, I did play it. You know what I'm saying? I'm personally just going to put it in the meh pile because I really don't remember much for this game. I want to say I played NFL 2K1 way more with I forgot who was on the cover of NFL 2K1. I think it was like it was somebody from the Rams. I want to say it was either Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt from that Rams team, but St. Louis Rams. But I can't recall who it was, but I played the absolute shit out of NFL 2K1 way more than I played NBA 2K1. I didn't even own 2K1. I played it at friends' house and stuff, but I didn't even own NBA 2K1. But I played the shit out of NFL 2K1. That game is like up there as far as like football games go. So I'm gonna put NBA 2K1 in the meh pile. Moving on, we have NBA 2K 2, which I believe this is NBA 2K2, which was another one that I didn't own. So I'm gonna put that in the med pile as well too, because I do remember playing this, but I definitely didn't own 2K1 or 2K2. The next one would be NBA 2K3, which I did own, and I'm gonna put this in a good pile. This was like the next 2K that I had or whatever, because I didn't get games like that like every single year like how I do now, working, having my own money and shit. So, as a kid, you don't you get your games when your parents get you games, So I got games like for, good report cards, birthdays, and Christmas. That was it. If it wasn't one of those occasions, you ain't getting no fucking new games in my household. You know what I'm saying? That's just how my parents rocked. So I didn't get 2K1 or 2K2. Did get 2K3. Um, and I also didn't get 2K4, which is this one right here, which is ESPN basketball. So I'm just gonna slot that one and didn't play because I did not play 2K4, aka ESPN basketball or whatever. I did not play that game. I didn't own that game. I couldn't tell you anything about that game. Same thing for 2K5. I couldn't tell you anything about this game. I didn't own ESPN 2K5. I did play NFL 2K5, and that, often regarded as one of the greatest football games of all time. For me, that's I ain't even gonna go into a whole Madden debate or whatever because we talking about 2K, but that's a whole other conversation for another day, man. But in NFL 2K5 is up there as well too, man. But these games gave EA such a run for their money because they were really good games, and it was when 2K actually cared about putting out a good product. But more importantly, the reason why these games were so good is because they undercut it what EA was doing. EA was selling, NBA Live and all these other games for like $50 a pop, $40 a pop, whereas 2K came out, their games was going for $20. So it's like, do you want to pay $50, $40 for NBA Live 05, Live 04, or do you want to pay $20 and get NBA 2K4, NBA 2K5? You know what I'm saying? Like that $20, $30 difference, it meant a lot back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially when there was an internet, but there wasn't, widely accessible internet. Everybody didn't have internet. Everybody didn't just go on IGN and look up reviews and look up scores and look up YouTube videos and see people playing the game. Oh, the game is shit. The game is good. We didn't have that like readily accessible as we do today, where you can find out everything about the game. I can literally watch the entire game. A game can release today, and I can watch the entirety of that game today and then decide, oh, you know what? I want to get that game. You know what I'm saying? I can watch my career, my team, everything, and then decide, you know what? I want to get 2K25. You know what I'm saying? Whereas we didn't have that back then. So, it was, the low price point was definitely a really big selling point for the earlier 2K games. You know what I'm saying? Then moving on, trying to find this because I don't have these in any type of order, is 2K6. And this, again, was, a game that I'm putting this in didn't play, but I played 2K6. I just didn't own 2K6. You know what I'm saying? So this right here was, to me, we're now entering, I don't want to say the golden era, but this is, I call the passing of the torch era, okay? Because this right here is, we're talking about Live's prime. Like, these were good games, but this Live was killing. Live is killing 2K right now. If you were Live back then and you were playing Live and 2K, you know that Live was absolutely frying 2K at this point. From that 03 with Jason Kidd on the cover of Live, 02, 03, all the way up until this point, Live is just shredding 2K. It's not even close, which is why they got to sell their shit at $20 or $30 price point to get more sales and get more people playing their game and whatnot, right? So at this point, 2K is not the king yet. You know what I'm saying? 2K6, again, another good game. It wasn't until 2K7 that I owned, and I'm putting 2K7 in great because, well, you know what? Man, like, it was great. It had the 24/7 mode, which was like the first instance of, like, quote unquote my career, which it wasn't really a my career. Basically, it was some mode called 24/7 where you would just play a bunch of street ball games. You would create your player, create his height, his left, right-handedness, whatever your jersey number you want it to be or whatever. And then they would just put you on these different courts, and you could go to like Brooklyn, Washington, D.C., L.A., Chicago, whatever. And you would basically just play through all of these games in each cities or whatever. And, the games would be random. Some games, it was like you could only shoot twos, you couldn't shoot threes. Some games, you were only allowed to shoot threes, you couldn't take twos. Or you had to, win with dunks only or layups only. Sometimes you had to hold somebody under a certain amount of points. Like, you had to play against Prime Shaq, but you couldn't let him score more than 7 points. Otherwise, it was an automatic loss. So this mode functioned as like a quote unquote my career mode when it really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But do keep in mind at this point, Madden already has superstar mode in Madden 06, 07, 08, 09. So do keep in mind we already got a whole superstar my career mode already in Madden on EA side of things already, right? At this point. So I'm just putting that out there. I want y'all to think that 2K started this. That was all EA, big dog, all right? EA already had that on locks at this point when 2K6 dropped and then 2K7. But we had that 24/7 mode, and then once you beat the 24/7 mode, what will happen is it would start an association file for you, and it would put you would pick which team you want to go to, and you would put that created player on a team, and then you would just basically play my league with that team that your player is on. And your player started off like a 77, 74, something like that, 76. I really don't remember what the overall was. The overall wasn't nothing absurd like a 90 or 80 or anything. It was like in the 70s, like a rookie. And you basically, that was like my career mode, and even before that, I would do that. At this point in time, that's when I first started making my creator players and putting them in association. And this was before it was called My League, okay? This was back when it was still called association mode. And that was the quote unquote My League / franchise. If you play Madden, that was the franchise mode for NBA 2K, which was, association mode. And what we would do is we would just create a player. You would create a point guard, and like I would just put him on a shitty team. It's why I knew who, Hassan Whiteside, because I would put my dude on the Kings, and Hassan Whiteside and Isaiah Thomas was on the Kings, and they were trash. They was like 55 overalls or some shit like that, just absolute garbage. And we would rebuild. A lot of times I would put them on the Clippers, and this was before Blake Griffin and CP3. This is when they had, like, I want to say Katino Mobley and Quentin Ross and, like, Corey Maggette and those dudes or whatever. I want to say Eric Gordon was still playing with the Clippers at that point. Or maybe that might have been 2K8. But, those were, like, the two main teams I would always rebuild because they were ass. Like, the Kings were ass. The Clippers were ass. And then I want to say I kind of remember rebuilding, there was another team. I can't, it slips my mind. But there was another team that I would always rebuild. And it was the Kings, it was the Clippers, and it was one more team that I would always rebuild. Because there was absolute garbage at this point in the NBA, in real life, and in the game. So it would always be fun to create my player, put me on the team as a point guard, small forward, center, or something. And bring the team around and, in 2-3 years, rebuild the team and be in the playoffs and winning championships and bringing the Clippers their first championship or whatever, So that was just something that I did, and that's why 2K7 was, going to be in that great pile, because I have a lot of history with 2K7 and the next one, which is going to be 2K8, and this was the turning point. This right here, this game here, oh my God, this game is a classic. Like, when I think of classic 2K games, when I'm talking about they just completely changed the landscape of 2K, you gotta start with 2K8. 2K8 was when the changing of the guards happened. This was officially when NBA Live was dead and 2K crowned itself. You know how LeBron does the little crown animation? Yo, crown me. This is when 2K took the crown from Live and put it on top of his head, okay? After this point, Live is fried. There's not a single edition version of Live that is better than 2K after 2K8. 2K8 is when 2K has officially taken the crown, the torch, whatever you want to call it, from Live. Live 07 was Live 07 with T-Mac on the cover was the last year that Live was better than 2K. Some argue and say that 2K7 was better than Live 07. In my opinion, it wasn't. That's just my opinion. Let me know down below what you guys think. But Live 07 was the last year that Live was the king. And then 2K8 with CP3 on the cover, it just ushered in a whole new era of basketball. You're talking about signature animations, signature dribble moves, layup packages, all of that good shit, like, the custom jumpers and all of that stuff, like the deep association mode. Like, just 2K8 was just godly, bro. Just godly. This was just a different beast itself. I don't know what it was about 2K8 but it was just so much better than 2K7 and 2K6. Even though those games were stepping stones to get to 2K8, 2K8, man, was just, whew, that was a great game. Now, moving on to 2K9, this again was a game that I didn't own. And I know that this says didn't play, but do keep in mind that these aren't games that I didn't play. These are games that I didn't own. You know, I probably should have changed the writing on that from didn't play to didn't own. But, you know, yeah, 2K9 I didn't own. I didn't even have a system at the time when 2K9 was out. I'm pretty sure that I didn't have my I don't think I had a 360 yet. I'm not sure if I had a 360 because I know I had a 360 at first, and then I sold my 360, and then I got a PS3. You know, I was always been PlayStation, but I had a 360, then sold the 360, then I ended up getting a P3, then I like sold my P3 or broke my P3, then I had to get another P3, and then I was like PlayStation after that. I don't think I never messed with an Xbox One, One X, none of that stuff or whatever like that. 360 was the only Xbox console I've ever owned. But I don't think I had a console for 2K9. And 2K9, you know, was a good game. It just built on top of what they already, you know, had in 2K8. You know what I'm saying? I have mad memories of, you know, going to my friend's house. You know, we would go on the roof, we smoke, you know what I'm saying, like 4 heads on one blunt. We smoke, be mad fried after, you know, high school or whatever. And then we would go to, you know, my man's crib and we would just fucking play 2K all day, you know what I'm saying, all night really, you know what I mean. Like, that was like our ritual, man. Go to the rooftop, you know, make sure security wasn't up there, smoke, you know what I'm saying, everybody come back to the crib, get some pizza or something like that, and just play 2K9, you know, passing the controller and shit. You win, you stay on, you lose, you pass the controller, you know what I'm saying? So 2K9 was definitely good vibes for me, bro. I remember 2K9, like, vividly. This was a good game. It wasn't, like, great like 2K8 or 2K, but it was a good 2K game. It was far from being bad or anything like that. I'm just putting it in a didn't play. You know what? I'm gonna put it in a good pile. I don't want to put it in the didn't play pile because I didn't own it, but, you know, it was in a good pile. Some of these could go in a good pile too, but I'm just going to keep those in the didn't own pile or whatever, right? Then moving on, we have another game changing 2K, and that's going to be 2K10. Now, 2K10, man, like, if you ask me what, like, my top 3 2Ks or top 5 2Ks, you can't have a top 5 without including 2K10. This right here is one of the greatest, and I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't think we've ever seen a My Career mode as good as 2K10. Now, keep in mind, this was the first year that we got My Career in a 2K game, so that by itself already makes it like a legendary, amazing 2K game. But it was just the simple fact that this was like one of the deepest My Career modes. Even when you look at Madden, even when I look at, you know, FIFA, you know, Pro Career, even when I look at, you know, Madden Superstar mode, even when I look at, you know, NHL's Be a Pro mode, like everything, like, you know, UFC's career mode, I don't think I've ever played a detailed or deep My Career mode as 2K10. And even as we go through the line of other 2Ks, and we go 10 years down the line, 2K has never made a 2K as detailed or as good as NBA 2K10, in my opinion. Period. Full stop. You know, I won't, like, you know, make this video longer than, because I could rant on 2K10 for hours, bro, for hours. I'm not going to lie to you. But one of the biggest things I loved about 2K10 was that, you know, you had the little showcase that you had to do, you know, and then you moved on, you had, you know, the summer circuit, right? The little summer circuit that you had to perform in, which was basically summer league or whatever. Then once you, you know, you had to perform well in the summer circuit, right? In Vegas, you had to play well. Whatever team you selected, you had to play well. And then after you play well, right? If you play good for those 3 or 4 games or whatever, however many games it was, I don't remember. This is almost 14 years ago, you know. after you play well or whatever, you get to pick and choose which training camps you want to go to, right? Based on how well you perform. So if you was godly and you had like a B plus, A plus every game, and you had great stats, you had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, you filled the stat sheet, had a good teammate grade, because that was really what it was dependent on. You know, you had access to all training camps. But if you were shitty, you got F's and D's and C's and stuff like that, and you were getting benched, then you didn't have access to a bunch of training camps. And then the best part is, if you just got an F straight across the boards, you didn't even get invited into a training camp. You just went, they threw your black ass straight to the G League or D League, because it was the development league back then before they changed it to the Gatorade G League or whatever. It was the D League. So they sent your black ass straight to the D League. They was not trying to hear that shit if you was getting B's and, if you was getting D's and F's and all of that stuff like that, straight to the D League with your trash ass, right? And then, right, and that was realistic as hell, because I remember performing well in the summer league, right? It was my first player. I had made a pass first point, right? Because this is when you picked your archetype, whether you had a shooter, whether you had like athletic player, you had a scorer, you had a pass first player, a defensive like specialist or whatever. Those were the archetypes that you chose, and you got your stats based on that. So I wanted to be able to dribble and pass. That was like my play style. That's how I played in real life. I like to drive and kick and, hop step and lay the ball up and stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna be on my Rondo shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be on my Jason Kidd shit, triple double, rebounding, athletic, but being able to pass and dribble and whatnot, right? I pick my my player. We get into the training camp, or we get into the summer league. I play well. Then we get to the training camp, and I got to guard Kobe Bryant, because of course I picked the Lakers. I want to play with Kobe. But what I didn't know was that I was going to be on the second team, and I was going to have to fucking guard Kobe, because Derek Fisher was the point guard. And, at that point, they didn't put the starters against the bench. It was a mix. So Derek Fisher was the starting point guard, but they put him on my team with the second team. They put the starting shooting guard, which was Kobe, on the first team, and then they put the backup point guard, which was me, on the second team. So I was a shooting guard. So imagine trying to guard like a 96, because I think his rating was like a 96 or a 95. Imagine trying to guard like a 96 Kobe Bryant, and you're on like a 50 overall point, 6'5", 6'4" point guard, pass first, not even defensive specialist, pass first point guard, man. When I say Kobe lit my ass up in that training camp, I mean he lit my ass up in that training camp. And I think I only made it to like the second game, and they sent my ass straight to the D League. And I just said all of that just to say how realistic NBA 2K10 was for my career mode. To say that we had all of that in NBA 2K10, and it's been 14 years and we haven't come close to a my career mode that deep or detailed, is absolutely sad. Absolutely, terrible, pathetic, whatever you want to call it, it is sad. But that right there is why 2K10 will always be in my top 5, possibly even my top 3 2Ks, just because of what it did for my career as just a mode itself. And on top of that, this was back when skill points were still in the game, so you couldn't even buy VC. There was no VC in the game for you to buy. That wouldn't come until, like, I think 3 years later in 2K13. So you couldn't even buy VC in 2K10. So you literally had to grind it out game after game after game after game until you had enough skill points to raise your player up. And shout out to, the OG, because the OG of 2K, YouTube videos, the only person that was making videos back then, you already know who I'm going to say, man, and that's Chris Smooth, man. Chris Smooth was holding it down for the 2K. There might have been one or two other dudes, but Chris Smooth was like the main dude that I remember seeing making 2K videos back then, But yeah, man, 2K10 definitely up there. 2K11 as well. But for me, I'm putting it in good. I know people love 2K11, and 2K11 is like highly regarded. This was another 2K that I did not own myself, but I played the hell out of this game, because if you hoop, you have friends that hoop, you're gonna end up at somebody's house playing 2K after the hoop session, after the smoke session or whatever. So I played a lot of these games. I could probably say I have like over 1,000 hours in most of these games, even if I didn't own them, just because, whenever we would go to somebody's house, we gonna play, 2K, throw that 2K on, you know what I'm saying? Even if there was a game on, we would watch a game, watch the Knicks play, watch the Nets play or whatever. And then after the game was off, the Lakers was playing, Orlando's playing, Celtics playing, whatever. Throw that 2K on, and we run the sticks in 2K. You know what I'm saying? So I fucked with 2K11, but maybe if I owned it myself, I would feel differently about it, or I would rate it higher. I know about the whole Jordan mode and all of that stuff, but I just don't. I wouldn't consider it a great 2K, just my opinion. I know a lot of people love 2K11, but that's just me. That's just where it's at for me. Um, Moving on, we have 2K12, right? And I'm putting this one in good. I want to put 2K12 in great, but I'm going to put it in good just because 2K12, I love the fuck out of 2K12, man. The one thing I loved about 2K12 was the movement. There was one thing I hated about it, but I loved the movement. I loved the way the players felt weighted. Like the players had weight to them for the first time. Like, 2K8 through like 2K11, the players just felt so like quick and fast. And like obviously you could change that in the settings, switching the simulation and changing the speed settings and all of that stuff, the fatigue settings. But just out the gate, 2K12 just felt good. When you hop step, you felt like you were, I felt like Derrick Rose when I would go to the paint and hop step through the middle or whatever. I felt like Russell Westbrook when I was doing like a spin layup. The players felt like they had weight to them. When you would post up and bang down low, it felt like you was bruising and bodying up dudes down low. So 2K12, I really fucked with 2K12. Um, I the thing about 2K12, man, like I don't know, man, like just the online for me, this was like one of the first games that I really played online. Outside of like I want to say 2K10, because 2K10 I played a lot of Play Now online, but like 2K12 is when I really started getting into online play, like really, really. At this point, I was playing like just a ton of Call of Duty, a ton of Madden online, but this is when I really started getting into 2K online, because up until this point, I was mostly just a association slash my league player slash my career, just create my guy, put him on my favorite team, and try to win as many championships and rebuild as much as I can. That was the type of time I was on. I never really played online like that until, like I said, 2K12, 2K13. That's when I really started being online like that. So 2K12, like I said, I really enjoyed this game, but it didn't have that I don't know, like that thing to put it over the edge for me to say it was a great 2K, even though it's one of my favorite 2K games for sure. Like I like it over 2K11, 2K9. It's definitely one of my favorite 2Ks for sure. Like if I can make like a top 5, top 10, top 10 is too much. Top 5, top 7, 2K12 is probably like 6, maybe fifth, sixth, somewhere around near on that list as favorite 2K games. 2K12 is definitely up there for me. Moving on, we have 2K13 now. 2K13, fire game. Fire game. Fire game, bro. Like, I'm not going to hold you. Fire game. But it's going into MedPal, right? Now, here's the reason why it's going into MedPal. It's because it's going into MedPal because of VC. I'm sorry. That's the only reason why I'm putting this shit in Med. The soundtrack, executively produced by Jay-Z. I remember just like this game just, it was just something different about this game, bro. Like this game was, I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I just remember just loading this shit up and just getting that soundtrack, like, just getting bombarded with Jay-Z and Yeezy, I don't know if this might have been the first year that they added the crew, if I'm not mistaken. or All Star Team Up. That might have been 2K11 or 2K12 actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know. I swear there was something that they added in that wasn't in the game before in 2K13. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't know. 2K13 was a fun game, man. 2K13 was a fun game. And those of you who played it, you know another reason why I'm gonna put this in the meh. And for those of you who played it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the small forwards in this game was just cheese, dog. Like, and y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. 2K12 kind of had the same problem, but it wasn't that bad. Because of the collision, you could kind of like get body blocks and loose ball steals and stuff like how you can now in 2K where you jump, somebody pump fake and then they jump and they block you with their body or whatever, and it counts as a block and a missed shot even though you made them pump fake and they fell for it. You was able to get that a lot more in 2K12. But 2K13, man, it was just like hold R2 and just double tap square, dog. And it was a free bucket. If you had a 80 overall or better small forward, it was a bucket. It was a bucket. 2K13, bucket. Every time. Bucket, bro. And motherfuckers will tell you, Danny Granger, bucket. LeBron, bucket. Kevin Durant, bucket. Andre Iguodala, bucket. Rudy Gay, bucket. Paul George, bucket. Like, it didn't matter all you needed was a small forward, and he had to be like just at least an 80 overall or better. Have a little bit of scoring on him, a little inside scoring, a little inside midi or whatever, layup, decent layup or whatever, and you just R2, double tap square, spin layup, and you was either getting, if you had Iguodala, if you had LeBron, you was banging that shit. If you had somebody that didn't have as high of a driving dunk, like a PG, a Paul George, well, I just said PG and Paul George. If you had a Paul George, like a Rudy Gay, or someone like that, you wasn't catching a banger or a dunk every time, but you would get like a clean ass like layup animation, and it would go in every single time, bro. Like the spin dunks, spin layups, all of that shit, the hop steps. Hop steps wasn't as bad, but the spins, man, it was just a free bucket every single time, bro. Like it was just terrible, bro. It was just terrible. And the game was fun. Don't get me wrong, the game was fun. I had a lot of fun with this game, but my God, bro, was that shit annoying, bro. Like that shit just kind of just ruined the game. Then we moving on to 2K14. Now this again was another 2K that I did not own for some reason. I don't know why I didn't own 2K14, but I definitely, again, like I said, like others, I've played the hell out of 2K14. But and honestly, I would say that out of all of these games, like that I didn't own but I probably played 2K14 the least out of all of these. I think at this point in time, I was doing a lot of hooping IRL, so I wasn't really playing too many video games. It wasn't until 2K15 that I kind of came back to playing video games a lot, but like 2K14 and then like 2K9, I wasn't doing, I was doing not like I didn't have a system or I just wasn't playing games a lot. So yeah, 2K14 is not a bad 2K. I rate it, but I would put it like in the meh or even the good. It's interchangeable to me. I would probably put it in the good, but like I said, I didn't own it, so I'm gonna put it in the didn't play / didn't own. But if I was to rank it, I would probably put it in the good category. But I'm gonna put it in the didn't play because I did not own this 2K either. Now 2K15, I've owned this game like 3 separate occasions. Now this is automatically going in the good pile. 2K15, fire ass game, fire ass game. Fire my career. You know what I'm saying? Like the SIGs, the feeling of the game, like everything about 2K15, to me, I enjoyed. I played the shit out of 2K15, and I want to say that this was like when 2K exploded. Like 2K14 was like the start of that golden era, and this was like that the holy grail of games for 2K. I would say 2K14 was the start of the golden era, even though it was the beginning of VC and them being greedy fucks, right? But 2K14 to like 2K17, that 4-year span was just chef's kiss, perfection, bro, perfecto, perfecto. You know what I'm saying? So like, 2K15 is definitely up there for me. 2K16, I ain't even gotta say nothing. Y'all already know. Y'all already know how motherfuckers feel about 2K16. You know this shit going straight to the great. Matter of fact, we gotta throw this shit to the front. We can't even just put that in the great pile. This shit gotta go to the front of the shit. You know, let me order these. Let me order these, bro. If we gonna do that, boom, boom, yeah, we're like this. I like this record right here. 2K16, man. Man, bro. Good times, bro. Good times. This was when like my team was still valid. When they used to give you like free connection cards, you would make connections in your career. I remember they gave me like this free Klay Thompson card, bro. And when I say I abused the fuck out of that free Klay Thompson card, I abused the fuck out of that card, bro. That card was goated, bro. Like this is when my team was still fun and fresh. It wasn't just a fucking loot box gambling, Gamblers Anonymous rip-off machine. Like, my team was fun. My career was fun. The park was still playable. Park was still fun, man. Like, we still had 3 different parks. Like, man, bro. Like, 2K, like, 16, the story mode was still decent. Like, it wasn't just complete garbage. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 2K16, bro. But like I said, man, golden era. Golden era. Obviously, 2K17, I don't really gotta say much on this. This y'all already know. This goes the same damn way, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that. In fact, I'm putting 2K17 above 2K16, bro. You know, the only bad thing I have to say about 2K17, honestly, only bad thing I had to say about 2K17, there was like 3 things that I disliked about 2K17. If I'm keeping it a buck. Number 1, Hall of Fame brick wall. When they added Hall of Fame badges, they added the grand badge and all of that shit. I was cool with the grand badge, that's fine. But Hall of Fame brick wall was just unfucking holy in the park, bro. Like, dudes was clapping you, pause. Dudes was clapping your life away on them Hall of Fame brick wall screens, bro. Like, Hall of Fame brick wall was just so ridiculous. And then same thing with Hall of Fame ankle breaker. Hall of Fame ankle breaker, like, but the thing is, the reason why these badges are overpowered is because you had to do like ridiculous shit. This is matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, this was back when you still had to earn badges. You had to do something specific to earn badges. Like, you had to shoot 25 corner threes in a season to unlock bronze corner specialist. You know what I'm saying? You had to get, I don't know, however many goddamn defensive stops or whatever, and stop fast breaks or whatever the fuck, and a good shot contest to unlock defensive stopper. Like, this was when motherfuckers was like really grinding for their builds. And you got to keep in mind that there was no online mode that you could grind your badges in. You was only getting those badges in my career, so you had to play those NBA games. So motherfuckers was slaving away. And then let's say, for example, you needed 25 corner threes, right? You had to do that times like 4 to get your Hall of Fame badge. You know what I'm saying? And you had to upgrade the badge first, so you had to pay your VC to upgrade your badge from bronze to silver to gold, and then do 4 times whatever it was required. So I just remember when we finally, and of course 2K never told you how to unlock the badges, so everybody was trying to figure out, how the hell do we unlock ankle breaker? How do we unlock ankle breaker? And crazily enough, this was when I was still putting out content. This is when I first started my YouTube. I don't think I just started my YouTube channel, but this is when I started putting out YouTube content. And if you go back on the channel and you look up, Makeamericalit 2K17, or you scroll back further enough, you will see like my videos on how to get, multiple badges: defensive stopper, ankle breaker, Hall of Fame ankle breaker, pick dodger, all of those badges. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause this was like, it was like, yo, how the hell do we unlock it? How the hell do we unlock it? It was like an Easter egg in like Call of Duty Zombies or something, where, you got to be the first one to find out how to do it. So then that way, you could tell everybody how to do it and shit. And I remember you had to get like double move leading to a score or assist to unlock ankle breaker. And you had to do that shit 1,200 times. to unlock Hall of Fame ankle breaker, man. And I sat there and grinded out all of those double moves leading to a score, double moves leading to assists, just to, just spamming crossover, 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 score. Crossover, crossover, dribble, 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 score. Or dribble, 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 whole screen, call for a screen, dribble, 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 dot the man, leaking out and then laying the ball up, double move leading to assist or score. Just doing that nonstop over and over and over again until you manage to finally get Hall of Fame ankle breaker. And keep in mind, you have to do that for everything. So you have to do that for corner specialist. You have to do that for pickpocket, which, there wasn't no glove. It was called pickpocket. You have to do that running through screens a bunch of times for Hall of Fame pick dodger. And I remember you happened to do that for Dimer, like to get Hall of Fame Dimer, because I had a playmaker, man. But even then, with the grind being as, just super fucking ridiculous as it was, 2K17 will still go down as one of the greatest, if not the greatest 2K game of all time. So, hands down, number one. That ain't changing. I don't think anything will ever go in front of 2K17. At least not with this bullshit I'm looking at down here. None of these shits is going in front of this. I'll tell you that right now. Or even this. None of these shit. Or even 2K10. Matter of fact, this right here is the top three. Ain't nothing going in front of these three games here. 2K17, 2K16, 2K10. That's it. That's the holy trinity. Ain't nothing going in front of these shits. For me. You know what I'm saying? Now, moving on, we got 2K18. And this is going to be the first fucking game that we put into the trash pile, man. This game was fucking trash. I owned it, and I wish I didn't own it. This game was dog shit. It was bullshit. This is when 2K popped a fucking membrane, and they decided to go full greed mode. We won't even spend too much time on it. Just know that Park was dog shit. They had that animation where you could just run at the rim diagonally from the wing, and people would just ride your shoulder, and you would just lay the ball up and get a layup animation every time, green. Layup animation, slightly early, slightly late, green, or make, you know what I'm saying? Or they would run at you at that diagonal, like that, and they would latch onto your shoulder, and then they would just snatch it back, and you would just go flying. And then they would just pull up, midi, pull up, three, green. You know what I'm saying? This was the game that actually made me stop playing Park, and I went to Rec because of this game. Also, you would invite your friends into your neighborhood or whatever, and then by the time you guys ran all the way around to the goddamn park and walked up the stairs into the park, it would just glitch out and put them in a completely different park. Then you would have to invite them again and then hope that it spawned them in the park with you, and they didn't spawn all the way at the other end of the neighborhood, because if they spawned in at the other end of the neighborhood, by the time they walked all the way over to the park and they got to where you were at, it would just throw them in another fucking lobby again. And it was just an infinite fucking cycle of them fucking you over and over and over and over. They made you pay for haircuts and rookie big man moves and shit. You had to pay for literally VC for literally everything, man. And this game was such bullshit, bro. Just complete and utter bullshit. I believe that this was also the game where you couldn't even preview the haircut. So you had to pick some shit and then spin the VC on it and then find out that this ain't the hairstyle you even wanted. This ain't what I wanted to look at. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, 2K18 just complete, utter garbage. The only good thing that I can say about 2K18 was that they did include the EuroLeague teams. So you had 16-year-old Luka Doncic. Before he was even in the NBA, you had 16 or 17-year-old Luka Doncic in the game, all the EuroLeague teams. Now, that's cool, but the problem with that is that, one, the ratings were off whack. Everybody was a 50 or a 60 overall rating on all those EuroLeague teams, so nobody would want to play with them. That's one. And two, they never did anything with the EuroLeague. You think that with them having an entire EuroLeague roster, that they would incorporate that into the My Career story, make you play it in the EuroLeague, play for a EuroLeague team, and, make that the story. Oh, making your way through the EuroLeague, da-da-da-da, so you could get drafted into the NBA, a la, LaMelo Ball going overseas to Australia and New Zealand or wherever he played. But no, they just put the EuroLeague teams in and did absolutely fuck all with it. 2K18 was just a major fucking L. Then they bounced back with 2K19. And to be honest with me, 2K19 was just meh. Now, if we're comparing it to 2K18, it deserves to go in good, but I'm going, man, I'm judging it just on the merit of it being a 2K game and not because it followed dog shit trash like 2K18, okay? Now, if we were comparing it in relative to this dog shit game, then yeah, it should be in the good or even a great pile. But just as a 2K game, standalone by itself, just a 2K game, I'm throwing it in, man. There was nothing like really life changing about this game. There was nothing amazing about this game. I did have a pretty nice lockdown, 6-7 shooting guard lockdown. Everybody was making six small forward lockdowns, but the sauce was you made your lockdown at shooting guard. You just made them, 6-7, and if you make them 6-7, you get silver corner specialist instead of bronze. I was just that much a better shooter, with that silver corner specialist, silver catch and shoot. I was just slightly that much of a better shooter, because of being a shooting guard versus being a small forward. Obviously, my defense lacked a little bit because I think I got I don't think I got a anchor badge, or if I did get a rim protector badge, I think it was like bronze instead of like silver or whatever. If I made it at small forward or something like that, or gold if I made it at small forward. I don't remember, but I just remember that I had a shooting guard lockdown while everybody was making small forwards. I made mine at the shooting guard, and I was wetting some shit. I was even running point with that build, man. But again, they did nothing with this game. This game, it wasn't revolutionary. It didn't change anything. It wasn't like a major splash in the 2K community. It was just another 2K game. Same thing for 2K20. I know some people are gonna have a soft spot for 2K20 just because this is when we got stuck on a lockdown and the pandemic happening. A lot of us was forced to play this shit. Like this was like life, bro. This was like a lifeline during the lockdown, during the pandemic lockdown, shutdown or whatever, with the big C. I won't say it because you know how YouTube is when you talk about certain words and use certain triggers and shit. But during the pandemic, during the lockdown, this was what held niggas down. This shit right here kept niggas sane, unfortunately. This and Fortnite. That's all we had. We had 2K20 and we had Fortnite. And this shit obviously we had other games, but this is really what held it down for motherfuckers, man. And I just remember countless nights of just wreck, like, yo, get on, yo, I bet, get on, like, and it was a lockdown, so everybody was home, everybody was always on the game, you always had a full fucking squad, whether you played park or rec. This was like, I don't know, man, like, this game was just very rare, man, like, it was just a different time, bro. That's all I can really, say. Outside of that, though, this game wasn't really remarkable in any other aspect, in my opinion. Just for the fact that, again, the pandemic, lockdown, not being able to do anything or go anywhere, this game will always, have a history. We will always remember 2K20, And this is also when they had the hop steps went crazy. This was when fancy footwork was still in the game. So I'm a Euro guy, so I've always been a Euro dude. But this is when you was able to just hop step and just fry the fuck out of motherfuckers with that hop step, man. So yeah, 2K20, I'm putting it in, man. I mean, you could put it in good, but I'm going, man, because it was just, again, like 2K19. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just, Now, 2K21, this is probably going to be the only 2K that I would put in bad. I just didn't like this 2K. I don't know what it was about 2K21. If I'm not mistaken, 2K21 was the 2K with, I want to say it was 2K21. It might have been, flexible release might have been in 2K20 as well too. But I just remember specifically whatever 2K that had flexible release in it, and dudes was shooting with like true percentage, real percentage or whatever, not even fucking timing their shots and stuff. Like, I just remember just not liking 2K21. And it's crazy because I have a shit ton of time in 2K21, bro. I have like 1,500 hours in this game. I don't know how, because I really didn't like 2K21. 2K21 is like legitimately the only game that I would say is bad, like as far as all of these games, man. 2K21, I just wasn't a fan of it. And I honestly couldn't even tell you why. I think really I was just burnt out on 2K, you know, especially after being on lockdown and, you know, literally just playing like 2K like for the better of 7 months, 6 months straight. Like I think we was just all burnt out on 2K. And we really wanted 2K21 to be like a really good game. And 2K21 was literally just 2K20. You know, unless you had the next gen version. If you had the next gen version, then obviously you got the city and all of that other shit. But I was still on PS4, so to me, 2K21 was literally just 2K20. So it wasn't really nothing to me. It wasn't nothing special or anything like that. So yeah, man, I'm putting it in the bad category. That's just me because I just wasn't a fan of it. Then we got 2K22. Now 2K22, you know what I'm saying? I can go either way with this. I can go meh or I could go good. I personally like 2K22. I genuinely like this game. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of 2K22. This is also this is like the last year that people could put that true real player percentage bullshit on. But even with shit like that in the game, even with people complaining about steals, even with people complaining about, you know, chase down blocks and motherfuckers, you know, smoking everything, even with the bullshit left, right, 5'7" guards with mismatch expert and shit, this game was just, ultimately, it was fun, man. Like, the game was still fun. And the one thing I liked about this game is that it didn't really matter what build you had, you was able to cut up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't matter what build you had. Like, I had a two-way sharpshooter, 6'5", 6'6" shooting guard. And I was cooking up. I was averaging like 25 a game in rec, just cooking up. Like with silver unpluckable, you know what I'm saying? Gold shooting badges, just gold defensive badges, just cooking up, bro. And it was just such a fun game, man. Like I really wish I had went back to play 2K22 like once the last time before they shut the servers down. Because 2K22 was just, man, it was just that much. You know, just a fun game. And then, honestly, 2K22, the reason why I feel like there was another reason why I like this game so much was that it was also the game that made me come back into content creating. Because at this point, I hadn't been doing content creating since 2K17, 18, 19, 20. I made like a couple build videos. 21, I think I made like a couple build videos. 22 is when I really came back to making content again. And it's just because I just like that game so much. Like, it was really a good game to me. You know what I'm saying? And then same thing with 23, man. 23, I'm putting in good as well, too, man. And like I said, man, 23, my biggest complaints with 23 was really the community, bro. It was the way people played, you know, just the cheesy, you know, lineups, the cheesy builds. You know, everybody had, you know, a 6'9" build. Like, when I finally did get next gen and I finally got a PS5 and I got, you know, online on the PS5 version, you know, where I primarily played the PS4 version for most of the year, I didn't get a PS5 until May. You know, so I spent like, you know, almost 9 months on PS4 version, where you had versatility, you had variety, you had 6'3" builds, you had 6'4" builds, you have 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", all the way up to 7'3" builds. And it was a coin flip on what you got. I primarily played shooting guard on a 3-level scorer, averaging like 24 and like 5. You know, and then I think like my final season, I was averaging like 30 a game on that 3-level scorer, which I ended up hating that build when I first made it because of, you know, the silver unpluckable and how ridiculous the steals were. But by the end of that game, man, like I found myself having so much fun with 2K23. And then when May came, I got a PS5 and then I got on the next gen version, you know, had a bunch of VC saved up, made my build or whatever, made the exact build that I made on 2K23, which was a 6'5" guard with a 99 3 ball. That shit was just not fun because every build I played was 6'9". Everybody had 6'9" builds. So then the second build I made a 6'9" shooting guard or a 6'9" small forward like how everybody else makes. And of course, I had fun. I was able to get stops. I was able to score now. I was able to get open and hit shots. I was getting dunks, blocks. I even put together a little mixtape, you know what I'm saying? A little mix of me just going crazy. And I only had the game for like a month or whatever. You know, it wasn't like I played the game for a very long time. You know, I got the game in May, and then, you know, June, the game is pretty much over. We're about to come out with 2K24. So, you know, for me, 2K23, majority of my problems was with the community and the way people played, the cheesy builds, everybody having the same exact 6'9" build, same height, same weight, same wingspan, same badge layout. It just was just, you know, just not fun, man. It just sucked the joy out of, you know, the game, you know, because in 2K22, people had different builds. You had your play shots, you had your slashers, you had your slashing playmakers, you had your two-way sharps. You know, you had a variety of builds, your glass cleaners, your glass lockdowns, you know what I mean? Your multi-position defenders, all of that. You had your different variety of builds. And with 2K23, that kind of just went out the window because everybody had the same damn weak ass 6'9", 6'8" build. And it was just boring, bro. It was just boring. To just guard the same shit every single time you load into the rec or in part. It was just annoying. Now, finally, we're getting to our last and current game, which is NBA 2K24. And of course, you know, I'm honestly, I'm going to rate 2K24, and it's going to go meh to me. I'm going in the meh pile, right? And that's mostly because, you know, I think just the greed again. What we're seeing is 2K18 level of greed coming back. You know what? Actually, we're going to put 2K24 in the trash pile, bro. We put 2K24 in the trash pile. And it's not even because I hate the game, because I enjoy the game. I like the game. I like the green or don't miss. I like shooting actually being a skill gap. I like all of those things, but just the VC, them taking away the auction house for the My Team dudes, for those of you who do play My Team, just all the scummy shit, the season pass, being able to buy level 40, just all of the just scheming, conniving, you know, just bullshit that they've done with the game, and just the way they've monetized the game. They've monetized 2K as if 2K is a free-to-play game, like Fortnite or Apex Legends or Warzone. You know why those games have so many microtransactions and loot boxes and cosmetics and shit that you can buy? Because it's a free-to-play game. We didn't pay 60, 70, 80, 100, 150 for, you know, West Bubblefuck super duper fuck you over edition. You know what I'm saying? We didn't pay anything for Warzone. We didn't pay anything for Fortnite, even though I did pay like $30 for like the Founders Edition to get that full game, because I wanted to play the full game and shit like that. And they would give you V-Bucks sometimes. But that's besides the point. We didn't pay for Fortnite. We didn't pay for Warzone. We didn't pay for Apex Legends. We didn't pay for any of these free-to-play games, which is why they can afford to put in thousands of microtransactions, because at the end of the day, you don't have to buy or spend any fucking money on that shit to play and enjoy said game. Okay? They can put a bunch of microtransactions in Fall Guys, because guess what? You can play Fall Guys for free. So nobody cares that there's thousands of outfits and microtransactions and that shit. But when you pay $150 for a AAA fucking game, people don't expect to have to pay an additional $150 just to get their player up to date to where they can actually play online. You know what I'm saying? And that's if you make the player that you were supposed to make, and that's if your player, you know, you don't fuck up on your player. Because if you fuck up on your player, then now that's another $150 that you have to spend. And then that's if you make a player that's versatile enough, because then if they patch shooting, they patch dunks, they patch steals, they patch blocks, they patch whatever, guess what? Your build might just become null and void and pointless. That happened to me on NBA 2K22. I made a two-way playmaker, 6 feet tall, 6'1" tall, just so that I can guard the fucking 5'9" PGs that did that left-right bullshit with Hall of Fame mismatch expert, being shorter than you, being able to green over top of your head no matter how contested it was. And then guess what? After I got that two-way playmaker to an 80 overall, and I'm like, yo, I got enough badges, yo, I think I might be able to go online and wreck and shit now. Guess what they did? They fucking patched the fucking left-right cheese. And then you didn't even need a fucking two-way playmaker or anything to guard that shit because the left-right cheese was nerfed or patched or whatever. So it's just like that build became pretty much useless. Yeah, you could use it for mismatch expert to negate that, but you didn't even need it because left-right cheese was just non-existent after they patched it or nerfed it, that you didn't even need a special build that was short enough to guard them or whatever anymore. You was actually able to bump them and lock them up. They wasn't just gliding past you, sliding past you like some like fucking robot or something, man. So yeah, man, like this is why 2K24, man, that shit is going in the trash pile, bro. Like realistically, gameplay wise, like the gameplay, I would put it in good, but just the monetization of this game, man, is just, we're back to the levels of 2K18 of them charging for fucking haircuts that you can't even preview, charging you for rookie big mans and charging you for free throws, like every animation in the fucking game. That is what this game is on the level of as far as monetization, and just they're just clear disdain of disrespect for his consumers, man. Like, so, there you have it. This is my rankings for the NBA 2K franchise. Let me know down below where you rank these games or whatever, man. Let me know down below what you guys think, man. It's been your boy Makeamericalit. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K24 content. And, of course, more videos like this. I'm out, y'all. Peace.